What's up, nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM. It's 11:30 on this 21st day of December 2022. It's about 62 degrees and sunny here at Site B. Happy winter solstice. It is the longest day of the year. So if you're a vampire, I guess, yay? I mean, the longest night of the year. You know what I mean. It's the longest something of the year. Well, let me check my calendar. Sun is up. Sky is blue. Gravity is still working. Water is still wet. Electroautomatic spectrum is still functioning. That must mean we have some Wizards of the Coast news. So, woo. Warning. Once again, Wizards of the Coast is doing something self-destructive and stupid and fear-mongering. And there will be a slew of responses, most of them angry. But yes, Wizards of the Coast is doing anything. Of course, I need to remind you that this is a monetized video. I am a YouTube partner, so there might be ads. God, I need to clean this computer screen. There might be ads in this YouTube, so if you don't like ads in your YouTube, I apologize ahead of time, but there will be some. Okay, so as of 20 minutes ago, Wizards of the Coast has announced there will be, wait for it, a new, wait for it, SRD and OGL coming 2023 as beginning to prepare for D&D 6e. Also, they are now referring to it officially as 6e. Warning! Starting in 2023, there will be, wait for it, a brand new, wait for it, OGL 1.1 and a new SRD in response to the whatever's coming in 2024 6th edition. This is shortly following on the footsteps of Wizards of the Coast's very ambiguous statement about how they might support third-party product with D&D Beyond and ONEDnD, and then how Chris Perkins had to come out and go, oh no, this is what we meant to say. And then they came out again and said something else, and then they had to pull out Crawford again, and he said, no, this is what we meant to say. Well, now there should be no confusion into what Wizards of the Coast has intended for OGL 1.1. Now, before your blood pressure starts rising and before you get all upset, understand that this is just fear-mongering on the part of Wizards of the Coast and the 5e Saber Rattlers. Wizards of the Coast is claiming that they will be producing a new open gaming license called the OGL 1.1, starting sometime next year. This will have some limitations added regards to the types of products that can use it and possibly reporting to our WOTC your annual OGL related revenue. They are also adding a royalty for those third-party publishers who make more than $75,000 per year. Only books and static electronic files like ebooks and PDFs will be compatible with the new OGL, meaning that apps, web pages, and the like will need to stick to the old OGL. There will be, of course, a lot of debate and speculation over what this actually means for third-party creators and how it will affect them. Some publishers like Paizo, when others will simply continue to use the OGL because the old OGL still exists. Now, does this mean you cannot use or publish under the OGL 1.0? No, you can't. You can still publish under the OGL. I could literally publish something today on Big Geek Emporium under the OGL, and Wizards of the Coast can't do a damn thing about this. Does this mean in 20 years from now, I can no longer make product for the OGL 1.0? No, it does not. 20 years from now, if you want to make a D&D thing or an OGL thing or an OSR thing or whatever the game will be like in 20 years using the OGL, you can. Wizards of the Coast can't, repeat after me, Wizards of the Coast legally cannot stop you from using the OGL. All they can do is what they have done since day one, prevent you from using copyrighted terms like doppelganger. You can't use the doppelganger as it appears in Dungeons and Dragons. You can use the word doppelganger because that word existed before D&D. You can use the idea of a shape-changing creature, but you can't have a shape-changing creature called the doppelganger. I don't know how that works. I don't know why you can and can't use beholder and you can't use beholder, but in regards to the OGL, armor class, hit points, level, saving throws, all that nonsense, you can still use. You can use it in any way, shape, or form you want. Okay? If you are dead set on using the D20 D&D system for whatever game you're making, there's literally nothing Wizards of the Coast can do to stop you. As for charging you to use their stuff, of course, if you put your stuff on D&D Beyond and make money off of it, of course Wizards of the Coast is going to want a percentage. They literally told you they were going to do this 2 years ago. This is controversial. This is another self-destructive path of Wizards of the Coast. This will only once again place them in a position where there will be thousands and thousands of third-party creators and thousands of people, and even people in the 5e grouping who will go, this is dumb. This is dumb. This is dumb. And we will not support it. As for charging third-party publishers royalties, you can try. You can sure try, Wizards. But literally, really, what you would have to do, Wizards / Hasbro / whose ever dumb idea this was, you would have to go to the Supreme Court and convince them to change how copyright law works and how the Library of Congress adjusts copyright in regards to things like games. Which probably means you would eventually have to, get them to try and change the Constitution or whatever the governing board of copyrights is. But in the United States, as of now, thanks to you, Wizards of the Coast, when you made the very first OGL and threw it out there and then tried to take it back and got in legal trouble, the precedence was set. So literally, you were your own worst enemy. So this is an example of the small, dwindling 5e fearmongers and the Wizards of the Coast fearmongering trying to get you to panic in regards to the state of the OGL. Now, normally, I support Hasbro and its choices, and normally I support, when Hasbro lays down the law in regards to Wizards of the Coast. So is this from Wizards of the Coast? Is Hasbro going to respond to this? I don't know. This feels like another mistake on Wizards of the Coast's part. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but I know some. I have read the OGL. I'm reading the notes on the new one right now. And I'll read it when the new one comes out. Will I follow it? Absolutely not. Will I publish material on D&D Beyond? No. Of course not. I'm not going to make material for ONEDnD. I'm not going to make material for 5e. I make OSR material. If Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro, wants to come after me in 2023 for the measly dimes I make, they're welcome to. I will be happy to be involved in the class action suit and the years and years and years of legal fees that they're going to have to pay for, and the years and years of tying up the courts in order to have eventually a judge go, no, you're dumb, you can't charge them. So, fear-mongering, panicking. Wizards of the Coast is panicking. Wizards of the Coast is panicking. And in response to the panicking, they are once again throwing out a bold statement without thinking about how the public is going to respond to the statement. If they thought anybody would look at this and go, wow, this is a great idea. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. Oh my God, this just gets so much pressure off of my shoulders. I totally support this. Wow. Well, maybe the shallow end of the 5e pool, maybe the 3 or 4 individuals left who still think anything Wizards of the Coast does is a good idea. Maybe these 5e elitists, as they call themselves, might think this is a great idea, but the rest of the gaming world is going to think this is a horrible idea, and you'll continue to lose support. If you are trying to drive people to ONEDnD Wizards of the Coast, all you are doing is driving them away into the waiting arms of the OSR, of indie game developers, and of the rest of the gaming world. Call of Cthulhu and Castles and Crusades are welcoming you with open arms. To quote one of my all-time favorite movies, and one of my all-time favorite lines from one of my all-time favorite movies, from a certain princess to a certain grand muff: the more you tighten your grip, the more systems will slip between your fingers. The more Wizards of the Coast tightens its grip on ONEDnD and the OGL and what it is they think they're trying to accomplish, which frankly I have no idea what they think they're trying to accomplish, the more gaming companies that will slip through, the more gamers will go, no. Somebody recently asked me, who is the target audience for ONEDnD? Because none of these choices make sense to me. And my response is, I don't think they know. At this point, I do not think they know. I think Wizards of the Coast is panicking. I think Crawford is panicking. I think Perkins is panicking. I think all the people underneath them are panicking. They have seen 3 major individuals of Wizards of the Coast be cut and replaced by people who think and act differently. They have cost Hasbro, by the end of this year, $1 billion. They are looking down a thin precipice of doom, and they are panicking, and they are fear-mongering, and they are making statements like this to make you afraid. You can't make OGL anymore because now we're going to charge you, and now you have to follow these very specific rules. No, that is completely untrue, Wizards of the Coast. All you can do, Wizards of the Coast, is say, we will not support product on D&D Beyond and on our VTT that does not follow the new SRD. You can say that. And people will go, fine, I will not put my product on ONEDnD, on D&D Beyond, on the virtual tabletop, on drive-thru. I won't do that, Wizards of the Coast. You're absolutely right. I won't do that. You know where I am going to put my product? I'm going to put it on Lulu. I'm going to put it on Itch.io. I'm going to put it on Redbox. I'm going to put it on Big Geek Emporium. Shout out to Big Geek Emporium. I'm going to put it on One Bookshelf. I'm going to put it on any one of the other hundreds of publishing things out there. And yeah, because I can. And there's nothing you can do about it. Oh, we're going to collect royalties. Well, you can try. Oh, we're going to take money. Well, you can try. It's not going to work. Oh, you can't publish unless you use the OGL 1.1. Yes, I can. What is Wizards of the Coast doing? Because everything they're doing for ONEDnD makes sense. Well, you see, Scotty, I don't think they know what they're doing. I think, as always, somewhere in the infinite multiverse, on a piece of paper, this choice makes perfect sense. But as I, justify every Wizards of the Coast choice, after that idea was put down on paper in that small little corner of the multiverse where it made sense, it left that small little corner of the multiverse and passed through multiple layers of stupid. So by the time you and I see it, it makes no sense. It is literally self-destructive on the part of Wizards of the Coast. And it is just flat out dumb. This is basic fear-mongering 101. Make your opponents afraid. Make people think you're taking their toys away if they don't step in line. Yeah. I have a feeling Double D is going to talk about this. I have a feeling DM James and Bloodwithers is going to talk about this. I have a feeling this will come up again before the week's over. So to paraphrase another movie line, hold on to your hats, boys. 2023 is going to be a bumpy ride, but God love you, Wizards of the Coast, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't really have anything to talk about now, would I? So there you go. In closing, Wizards of the Coast has announced that they're going to be changing, wait for it, SRD, wait for it, and, wait for it, wait for it, OGL in 2023 to prepare for 2024 and in response to all the things that have come out of them saying, well, we're not sure if what we're making in 2024 is going to be OGL compatible or not. In closing, just don't let Crawford open his mouth. So don't worry, they cannot come for you. Don't worry, there's nothing they can do to stop you from publishing product on any source you want. Don't worry, there's nothing they can do to stop you from playing D&D any way you want, or literally any game. And if you are as frustrated as I think the rest of the gaming community is with what Wizards of the Coast is doing with our beloved D&D, don't panic, because there are millions and millions of other game systems out there that can provide you with the exact same experience that D&D does without all this nonsense, including Castle and Crusades, and the OSR, and several indie games, and Call of Cthulhu, and hundreds of other games that will not be run by companies who treat you like crap. Because unlike Wizards of the Coast, every other company out there wants to make money. And in order to make money, they need to make the people who buy their stuff happy. Wizards of the Coast, the other hand, went, you know what? Let's just make a bunch of choices that cost Hasbro almost $1 billion. Don't worry. They cannot take your OGL away. I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, let me know. If you disagree with anything I said, let me know. I'm happy to talk to you about it. If you want more information regarding this nonsense, let me know, and we'll go into it again. Till next time, like, share, subscribe. Help me hit 1 billion subs by this time next year, and I'll talk to you later. Hold on to your hats, boys. It's going to be a bumpy 2023.